I think this is such an important topic. Purpose is, it's purposeful and meaningful for us in general, in any decade that we're in, but almost more important today. We hear so much about quiet quitting and people just feeling a lack of connection with what they're doing and lack of connection with something bigger. So I would love for your thoughts on why does this matter so much today?
Yeah, I share your point of view on that. We do seem to need more encouragement. We tend to focus on the problems more, and of course we do have problems, and we don't want to ignore them. But I think I'd like to see there be more of a sense that these are challenges to be overcome. They're not just threats; they're challenges to be overcome. And of course, when you're dealing with stress, that's one of the things that's key. You want to see things as challenges rather than threats that maybe you don't have the resources to deal with. We have overcome challenges, and we will in the future. And I think that's really important. And I think our sense of purpose has a lot to do with that. When we have a sense of purpose, we're likely to have more courage, more confidence. We're likely to see the longer view, put our problems in a clearer perspective. And I think that when we talk about purpose, one of my concerns is that sometimes it seems as though people are talking about the hot button issues. Having a sense of purpose, means feeding the poor, ending global poverty, reducing climate change, racial reconciliation, all the things that are the hot button issues today. But I think it's important, and I think what we're missing is that people's work contributes to the greater good in a lot of different ways. It's often not recognized. It takes all kinds of jobs and services and products to have a flourishing society. One of the examples I use in my book is I used to do a lot of group discussions on this topic. I had a person in one of my groups that was the logistics manager for a manufacturer, and he had a lot of trouble seeing how his work connected to a greater purpose. And my thoughts, which I expressed to him, though of course, that's not always necessarily helpful, but the way I saw it was that if it weren't for people like him, we'd all be growing our own food and making our own clothes and spending all of our time doing it. Jobs like that are enormously valuable to the rest of us, and people don't necessarily appreciate that. When we serve somebody, in a restaurant, or we take care of a customer service need, or we produce something that people can use. These are all valuable contributions to a flourishing society, and I think we lose sight of that.
So, Rob, that begs an interesting question. Is it about, if people want to really strengthen their purpose muscle, reignite it, get it stronger, make it more of a presence for them, an everyday thought for them, is it about rethinking what we're doing, reframing it? Or is it about going off and discovering that thing that's going to kind of light that fire in us? Well, I'm curious your thought.
That's a really good question. We talk a lot about calling and finding your calling or developing your calling. And, I think that's an important process. It is important that we pay attention to what moves us and where we feel most engaged and what that means for the direction we should be moving. But too much of the conversation is oriented towards doing something different. I'm certainly not against people changing jobs or changing careers or anything like that. I think that can be valid. But I think we also need to remember that what we're doing now is important, that what we're doing now makes a contribution. Now, that's not to say all work is good, but most of it is, and far more than most of us realize, I think.